consciousazine.com Chronicles.
Hello. I have to say yes, organic portals are inherently psychopathic, and it's inherently. So coming with the package, so every single last one of them, very irrational and very illogical, so they're a black alliance, and light is informational. There's a comment from my YouTube that I don't really fully agree with. From my experience during the past 2 years, when I first learned of OPs, RPs, I was under the impression that they were all automatically evil, but just recently came to realize they can be either good or evil and can be influenced either way. There are definitely levels of degrees depending on their life script or purpose and innate original type of energy. They don't have innate original type of energy. They are organic portals. This is the entire idea. They are not the individual. They are all one mind, and it is a compromised mind, and it is inherently psychopathic. Like there are some RPs who are devious, here to deceive, manipulate, destroy. Yes, many robotic portals are deceivious and here to manipulate, destroy. Others whose purpose it is to encourage and share higher perspective, which is their consistent behavior or message, but they, like all good, can be deceived because good is good and has no natural evil tendency. Yeah, the weak good ones, so to speak, who are really organic portal good people, so to speak, or they might even pretend they are like a light worker, but they're not actually working any message of light, especially not their own. If they are, they're only echoing others. So it's said, be a voice, don't be an echo. And we're saying organic portals are echoes, yeah? So there's no innate, original shit. There's no, perspective which is consistent with good. I understand what you're saying. These are the gullible good people, but, and I get what you're saying, the natural evil tendency is not there, and they're like the naive ones who think everybody has a soul, and really they're the organic portal ones, because they don't have their own mind present. That's what we're saying. Their soul mind is missing. OPs, same thing, but they are like pawns. Yes, they're more pawnish than the RPs, but not really, because the robotic portal is just guided by negative ETs rather than directly by the hive mind, the one mind. And yeah, organic portals are the ones where spirits or entities can readily enter. The RP is already guided, and it's not like another spirit is entering the robotic portal. The robotic portal is just solely guided by some negative ET force, so to speak, like, grey alien style. Everyone has a life script, she says. Something about that only soul humans have the ability to break free from that, whereas the others stay in their program script. Well, the idea, is when you're a soul human, you have soul potential, and not necessarily are you then a vector, but you're the entropical or entropy field at that point. So whether you choose vectorization and become a soul human is a different story. Because if you don't, you will unresonance. I've mentioned this idea of un and n resonancing in other videos. Problem is neither OPs or RPs have their own source of energy, so they do rely on soul humans for it. Yeah, now it's interesting. The light that we speak of is intelligent, the luminous, numinous, post-threshold light, the higher light. And, the RPs are trying to create their own plasmonic phenomena, which would be more like fifth dimensional agua waters instead of the higher seventh dimensional air light. But notice air and water both are a medium, and it's pretty much the same thing with the seventh dimensional and fifth dimensional lights. Now, I've noticed RPs are creating their own synthetic light by paying attention to the light being emitted by the soul human, and the OPs, they're, still just doing raw energy sucking in any method possible. It's like more the drone level of things. So that's my opinion. That comment's not exactly correct. And I do think they are inherently psychopathic, actually. And especially, well, no, both. See, the AI, which is directly manipulating RPs via higher matrix agents or negative ETs, really is psychopathic itself because it's disconnected itself from flow. It's still not post-threshold in the higher light. It's still phenomenous and tangible of the lower light of the fifth dimension and down. Okay, so this is what you have to understand. And OPs are only their body, only the second dimensional edge of stuff, things made out of stuff, atoms, so on, physical matter, and only the flatland body, and a third dimensional life perspective of the ego, which is a zonal reality of the third dimension. So this is the differences between these robotic portals and organic portals, but both being disconnected from what, if you consider source energy, maybe 12th dimensional light or 10th dimensional light, but wherein a 13th dimensional model is being used. And no, I don't think the AI is itself like God. It is an overlay or a surface virus. That's what the artificial intelligent higher matrix system is. It's an overlay. And it's not, this is the good universe that we can make it. Things are happening in opposition to that. Negative space is creating area for positive creation to spring forth from. Of course, they are psychopathic, and psychopathic means just generally a psychological pathology. And so it's just like the negative side of the mind, and when the body turns acidic and satanic. And low energies are the state of the demonic entities which enter. They're not higher energies. And what's interesting is I have a video even about high beta state being possibly connected to that sort of mind being taken over by a frequency there. And when we get to deep sleep, we reprogram our dimensional bed on the delta state as the reduced vibration. Now what's interesting is they do seem to have pathological psychopathy or psychological problems, and often from, as above so below with the body, a second dimensional block can inhibit a higher dimensional light uptake and reception. So even to the hindbrain, the pons could be set in a different way, more concretized to disallow for the reception of the higher light. It's like the pons act like a drum on the top of the brainstem. This is one possibility. And we know about also, the possibility of a calcified pineal gland, and so on. These are examples of how the second dimensional edge, if it's clogged, the second dimension, if it is clogged with psychopathy, basically, you'll learn this if you start to look into this stuff, that if the second dimension is clogged, it disallows for reception of higher light, essentially. And this is what they are. They are just the lower light. That's why they are confusion, and the ones following the higher light, such as myself, are called way showers, because we're seeing the universal energy as it enters raw. This is what all shamans can do as well. We're seeing energy down to the way it enters the universe. So we're seeing how things actually are as well. There's obviously layers to this, but generally, if we look at their behavior, we can already tell that they've got psychopathologies. It's always about disturbing you, distracting you. Already, these are those type of lower energies. How do I know? Because when I'm sitting out in the surf, 6 a.m. on an Australian surf beach where no one's around, I'm in only joy and bliss. So when I re-enter the psychopathological psychotronic grid, and psychotronic is just data being transmitted via sound, really, and this is what RPs and OPs are. They're like antenna of the matrix. It's like that movie They Live, where they're broadcasting a certain frequency, except it's a certain frequency range. And I was mentioning high beta and beta state as well before, so maybe that's where we should look. Anyway, you just tell by their behaviors, such as the disturbing, the distraction, the mimicking, the close attention paying in a sort of stalkish manner, where they become incessant and neurotic in illogical patterns, and irrational arguments form, and these are all these lower energies, and these are all signs of these pathologies, because if the higher light is flowing, you don't get into these areas of unknowing so often. It just flows to you, because the universal light is intelligent, it's self-embedded information, what comes to us in this form of light, in the light body, or our higher self connection. So they are the lower self only, and it's irrational, illogical, it's always separative, the ego seeks continuous separation, and it also seems to think that it can stand in the way of progression, essentially. They're like these stabilizers, the organic portals, don't forget that. So the souled human is more like an advancer and pulls the entire morphogenic field forward with it. A concrescent tip, like a tip of a pyramid, which also has a different use, the gold capstone, and takes in naturally, without stealing it, naturally takes in the power of all the stones beneath it, so to speak. This gold capstone on a pyramid. So that's what a true crescent or a souled human would have to be like if we want to save reality, so to speak, or not all die and perish on planet prison Earth. If we want to go forth, so to speak, we would want to follow the soul vector paths, soul human, those who are way showers and so forth, healers, shamans, awake people, all these sort of terminologies, but the ones who are infinite and timeless, not in a new cage, with reference to the new age, with a C in front of it as a cage. Now, if we just look at their behaviors, this is where we can see the stemming of disconnection creates pathology. And so we have a path now to heaven. We have a map of hyperspace. That's what I'm giving you as well. Because if we go inward, we go onward and upward, and that's, you know, the idea of getting into the heavenly state, the seventh dimensional harmonics lights or rays. And this is achievable if the connections are able to flow. We don't know the exact, amount of how much can the pineal calcification be reversed, and when is there a critical mass point. So that's only a matter of critical mass point knowledge and so on. But we can definitely see that their behaviors are pathological and psychologically ill, and there's many tendencies we can see between them, like I've mentioned, acidic bodies, dull minds, dim wits, so dim instead of bright, and so on. But these all flow from disconnection, in my opinion. It looks like to me, the less grounded, the more easy these energies are to step into. And it's like you appear in the fourth dimension to these higher entities, and they come and feed off you. That's when they just activate and come feed off your light body when you enter their range of like fourth dimensional pain body energies. And that's why the archons, the ones up the top, which are said to be like 10th dimensional, because they're attacking directly your will force with fear. which shuts down higher reception of higher light, and they are controlling this grid via that mind control. The Matrix is a mind control system, not a physical system of just societal corporations. And so the Archons are keeping things in check like that, and things like the six-dimensional sort of gatekeeping of the grey species, and there's many adumbrations of this theme, but it all is in opposition to that. We can't control the universe, and they always try to stand in the way of the river flow, so to speak, of light and love and expansion and evolution, so to speak. So they are a black alliance and kind of an antagonistic net and surface virus, cross current to the flow. And these are psychopathic tendencies to, in other words, for the ego to think that it can stop all of creation. That's what it boils down to if they look, if they would only realize. Okay, so I thought I'd add a part 3, or a sort of bonus section here, or a sort of conclusion section, because I know people always want more from me, and they always want a deeper explanation. So here we've got a little bit more on, and you know, at universal depth, why an organic portal is inherently psychopathic. We've talked about their behaviours obviously being psychopathic or pathological, but, and there's many more behaviours that could be described. Once you discern the phenomena itself of who is an organic portal, what is it, who are they, and you start to see these people, or you start to see this phenomena or theme, once you see this theme, then I think you understand what I mean by, you know, they're psychopathic. Some people will say they're, you know, and I often say they're quite inert. And they are quite inert, and you activate them. But that doesn't mean they're, you know, for good and bad. However, yeah, you can use the organic portal for good if you are the concrescents using their energy to further the universe. But you will still note, along that journey, and that's the journey I'm on, you'll still note their psychopathic behaviours, little rip downs, trying to tear you down, their non-understanding, which is basically what we're going to cover, their non-understanding and dark nature, just, it creates an inherent psychopathy, the disconnection, because it creates an inherent confusion to be disconnected. Okay, let's get into this. We're starting with a quote from Socrates. Virtue as knowledge, Socrates. Socrates taught that virtue was a natural endowment, an innate propensity. It was not an artificial habit, that is, not acquired through education. Now remember, organic portals are all education and don't listen to their own inside. So apparently, or basically, they're artificial in a way, because they're just third-dimensional bodies, yeah? Check all my other videos, research the theme of organic portals, and you'll see what I mean. So, yet Socrates asserted that virtue could be taught, but only in accord with the natural propensity of the soul. The soul retains, he said, a divine wisdom. This self-knowledge could be awakened. Remember, we call organic portals soulless humans, yeah? And it was perfect.
Self-knowledge, or knowing oneself, was the beginning of one's personal existence. Beginning. Now we say that they're soulless, the organic portals, and they don't know themselves. They're horizontal, made up of other people's thoughts, instead of spiritually vertical in their own light column, connecting upper dimensionally. This awakened knowledge of the soul defined for man the nature of virtue. Therefore Socrates declared that virtue is knowledge. This knowledge of the soul reveals to man what is truly best. And hence why we say they're psychopathic, because they truly do not know what is best. They only know truly what is best by what society says, and we know that society is ill and illy defined and illy guided by the ill people, or the Black Alliance, basically, and dragon families. Anyway, I only have energy for communication that seeks deeper connections, understanding, and spiritual truths. Communication with no substantial meaning, or babble from Babylon, leads to a dead end. I did a video called Babble from Babylon, Organic Portals. I am considered quiet to most, but talkative with those who resonate. Here's another thing on music and how their inner music is missing, because I'm always talking about how they're disconnected. That's why they're psychopathic. In '86, Sosuma Ono, a geneticist and molecular biologist known for his work in genetic sex determination and evolution through gene duplication, also turned DNA sequences into musical pieces. He notated more than 15 songs based on DNA of a variety of living organisms. Ono assigned musical notes for the four bass do. Sorry, a video I just made completing. Okay, he assigned to the four bases do to cytosine, re and mi to adenine, fa and so to guanine, and la and t to thymine. So that's the bases of DNA. Thus they are. Oh yeah. So I always talk about inner music and grounding and finding yourself by connecting to everything that is and just going within yourself. So, I don't know, it's just a little adage I put in this video for that reason, because they don't seem to have their own inner music. Okay. Yeah, they listen to man instead of God. And they're psychopathic due to not being in their own knowledge and virtues as a human, and being vertical in their spiritual light column, or spiritually vertical in their own light column. Instead, they're made up of the surface horizontal thoughts. Spirit is vertical on the cross of horizontal matter. That's how we talk about it. They listen to man instead of God. And this is creating psychopathy, we're saying. Because then you do not know the truth, really. And you start to act without virtue and without really knowing, and you stuff a lot up, And it creates pathology to really not know. I find that in the more I know, more gnosis I gain, I become somehow quietly calmer and I still have the spirit fire for the fight against the dark, but inside I get a sort of, from this gnosis I get a sort of contentment, and I find it takes away a lot of pathology and inner monkey mind talk from the monkey brain. Okay, because they are not inner magnetically aligned, it is the organic portal apocalypse at the end of human history. It's said that man is becoming dirigible, capable of being steered and guided. We mean this magnetically, okay? Just like iron filings stand up in attention when a magnet goes underneath a bit of paper or something. That's just like this earth mind waking up beneath our feet, so to speak, And I always say it's the Logos of Earth awakening, not you. It's piercing your ego, not your ego is awakening, okay? The induced motions of magnetosomes can be large enough to open mechanically sensitive transmembrane ion channels, which in turn has the potential to influence a wide range of cellular processes. No wonder the organic portal can't fast, or find Amrita, or do divine thinking. They never have Wu-Ji in the upper Danjen, like Wu-Ji, I just thought of an epiphany. Wu-Ji force comes after Shen, which comes after Qi in the belly. Because they're unaligned and hence unenlightened. And alignment has to do with magnicity, and check out what magnetomes are in the brain. They are psychopathic because they see themselves as separate from all of creation. The ego seems to continually want to divide, and hence they do not strive for true virtues or great work. Quick discussion on what is great work, because I mention it in almost every video, and organic portals absolutely do not do this. Our society is geared to the way that you do not have time to even do your own magnus opus because you're busy working all day. This is what I've tried to avoid by working directly for you guys and saying I refuse to work for the beast system. Because what I'm trying to do is just magnus opus. I'm trying to focus the magnus opus, which, as we find out here, is sometimes not just meaning a specific person's great work, but a larger house of light or construct of light that we're all putting together. Anyway, so magnus opus or opus magnum, plural, magnum opera. That's why I put it in this video. Opera, like a song. We were talking about, inner music. Anyway, from Latin meaning great work, refers to the largest and perhaps the best, greatest, most popular or most renowned achievement of an artist. Sometimes the term magnus opus is used to refer to simply a great work rather than the great work of a specific person. And notice that the true spiritual people, and I mean not the spiritless humans in the spiritual movement, but the actual spirited humans who have their own spirit, we're all working together now at the end of history to try and put together a large, great work of just knowing what the hell is, or what the heaven is going on. We're just trying to understand stuff. However, you notice the organic portal is always apathetic and they don't really care. They just want to go to work the next day, eat shit and live, basically. Anyway. Organic portals, spiritless humans even exist in the spiritual movement. These fake spiritual people, the airheads, still horizontal, just repeat machines. Echoes, not a voice. So look for people who are a voice. I'm sick of hearing how love conquers all. There will be no golden age without discernment, because discernment has to do with information, and light is informational, and it's it's forming stuff, so it's informational. Organic portals, remember, are their bodies and no more. Not light body integrated, no id or higher self connection, just ego. Hence they are merely the ego, no higher self contact beyond the threshold is occurring with them. Hence they are ego dots, not hyperspecial lines. They will die 1,000 deaths and reincarnate 1,000 billion times, They're the backdrop people. They leave no great work and are not universally saved. They are lightless and hence loveless. They only mimic love, wherein it's said to be nice, just to be nice. But I've noticed truth is not always nice, and it's not always comfortable. I took my ego life and I decided to love everyone. I could have hoarded all the information, this is a quote from me now, so not doing so was an act of loving you all. So when you say I'm not very loving, you're absolutely wrong. I've forfeited my ego life in order to serve you. I am service to others, not STS, service to self. which is what they are. They're STSs, I'm a STO. Service to others, and they are service to selves. This is one way to tell who is an organic portal. See how love is embedded in light? This is how I have an egoless life. I just told you that. Ego-less, not without ego, because we can't kill ego. It's there for a reason. It's how you know who to feed at night, yeah? Who to put the spoon in, what mouth, so that you don't die with your body. Ego is steward of the body. Id is steward of the light body. You know, I have an egoless life, ego-less life, not ego-more life, because I don't work to suck energy from a corporation which sucks energy from the environment and humanity into a nuclear family bloodline. I work for all of you, everybody. So like I said, I've kind of forfeited what could be my body's life if I wanted to eat superfood every day, which I can't afford at the moment, and I do want to. I would go get a job and I'd forget all of you. I'd say, stuff you all, what are you doing for me? I'm going to go get my own job, but I don't. I continue to be virtuous and persevere because I am spirit and I am a positive souled human that is a vector of the universe, or in other words, I am the universe. The difference is that the organic portal tries to shut out that flow, where I try to accept it as much as I possibly can, which is very difficult at times, I have to tell you, but I don't want to say it's not for the faint-hearted, but yeah, it can be difficult, and it seems that society is becoming more of a trap, more of an ego trap itself, and it's harder to do great work. Just lastly, a quick excerpt from my page, The Black Alliance, here. You realise most of you are psychopaths, right? While you watch FIFA on the Commonwealth Games, etc., you're giving your energy to it, whilst you're then not giving to the millions impoverished, dying, or in trouble who need your help. Surely this is the epitome of psychopathy. And I like this quote over here, by Dwight Eisenhower. Every gun that's made, every warship launched, every rocket fired signifies, in the final sense, a theft from those who hunger and are not fed. And you can read the rest of that. But it's pretty obvious. I said this back 4 years ago.